Hi! I am recording today's class for a very special person in my life. I'm recording this class for my dad. Nothing gives me more joy than my parents occasionally practicing yoga with me. And my dad put in a special request for a class where we don't do any downward dogs. So I'm up for the challenge. There will be no downward dogs in this class. And before we get started, given I've mentioned my dad, quite often in yoga classes, teachers will ask you to dedicate your practice to someone. And for me, when I do that, it's more about not dedicating it to them, but holding a person in my heart while I'm practicing, thinking about a person who I want to be sending out love to. So perhaps you can do that today. Think about someone who you love, someone who you feel grateful for. Maybe it's someone you don't know. Maybe it's a stranger you walk past today and you want to hold that concept of an unknown person in your heart and send love out to them. Okay, let's start in a seated position. Either cross-legged or on your knees, sit with a cushion under your hips if that helps you get your spine straight. Hands resting on the tops of your legs. Close your eyes. And just let yourself become still. Your body moving with your breath. The belly on the inhale, pressing out and drawing in. Keeping your eyes closed and keeping this stillness and this gentleness in your breathing. I'm going to read a few things. We need slowness, time for reflection and contemplation, privacy, silence, and it is hard to come by these days. Maybe for some of you, if you are isolated alone, maybe it's not hard to come by. And for those of you who are with family, with partners, maybe with children, there's probably not much silence at all. Whether right now you are in an environment that is noisy or in an environment that is quiet, bring some of that feeling of quiet into your body, into your mind. Sit back and look for whatever is there. Notice the thoughts that come and go. As they come in, acknowledging them and letting them go, not dwelling on anything. Sometimes meditation, sitting in stillness, it can be a little bit self-centered in its very nature. And that's not a bad thing. It's good for us to take care of getting to know our own mind and emotional patterns before we can start seeing how we project ourselves onto other people, before we can start to notice how our emotions affect others. But at a certain point, there comes a time when we have to take a courageous leap into realizing, oh, all these other people out there, they matter too. And eventually we get to a point where we realize that actually these are not two separate things. That when we show up for ourselves, when we give kindness to ourselves, when we are compassionate to ourselves, we show up for others also. Let's just take one breath together. Exhale all of your air. Take an inhale together and let it go with a sigh. Really nice. Let's come to a cross-legged position, if you weren't there already, with the right leg crossed in front of you. Hands on the knees, and we'll start making some circles with the hips. Hinge yourself forwards, come over to one side. Tuck the tailbone as you round backwards and then to the other side. So we're making these circles around the hip joints, and it's initiating very much with the pelvis. As you come forwards, there's a tilt forwards of the pelvis. And as you come backwards, there's a tuck and a rounding. And you'll feel that start to flow through the spine. It's reverse directions. A tuck and a round at the back, and then a tilt and an arch at the front. And next time you come to the front, stay there. Make sure your spine is nice and long, so we're not tucking under. That pelvis is tilted forwards. Bring the hands to the ground in front of you. Start to walk them forwards, lowering your chest, your head towards the ground. Wherever you come to that feels valuable to you, getting a bit of a stretch in the outside of that right hip. Let's take an inhale and an exhale together. And then start to move your hands towards your left side, keeping that right hip really pressed down. Let the head drop down. Feeling a stretch down the right side of the body. Coming back to the middle and pressing yourself back up. Bring the fingertips to the ground behind you, tilt backwards, extend the legs out, and then recross them with the left leg in front. Palms come to the knees, and we'll make the same circles that we did before. Feeling that rounding happen at the back and the tilting, lifting up out of the spine happening at the front. I like to use my hands on the knees, especially when I come to the back, to give myself a little bit of an extra stretch. I press the knees away while I come backwards. And let's go the other direction. Your hips might be making little clunky sounds. Mine just did. It's a good way to start to bring some blood flow into that joint, the hip joints. Next time you come forward, stay there. Bring the hands to the ground in front of you. Walking the hands forwards, letting the head drop down. Taking an inhale and an exhale. Walking the hands to your right side, feeling a stretch now down the left side of the body. Seeing if you can walk that left hand so it gets close to the right hand. Left hip stays pressed down. And walking back to the middle and pressing up. Reach the arms out to the side. Inhale, sweep them up. Look up towards your hands. As you exhale, bring the hands back down to the sides. Take the right hand onto the right knee and reach yourself to the left side using the left hand coming over to the left. Come back to the center. Left hand comes to the left knee. Right hand comes to the ground behind you and press yourself around to the right. Coming back to the middle. Interlace the hands behind the back of the head and then press the elbows out really, really wide. You're trying to get them so that they're behind your head. Take an inhale and tilt the head back, looking up, arching. As you exhale, the shoulders round, the elbows come forwards. Tuck the tailbone and round down. Inhale, arch, look up. And exhale, we come down. Inhale, arch, come up. And exhale, we come down. Really nice. Coming back up. Hands come to the ground on either side. Left hand reaches for the floor. And then just tilt your right ear towards the right shoulder. The more you reach the left hand away, if you want, you can take the right hand and just give yourself a little bit of an extra stretch on the neck here. Inhale and exhale. Coming back to the middle and then lean to the other side. Now it doesn't matter if you are doing the same side as me at the same time or mirroring and doing the opposite side. We'll be doing both sides, so as long as you switch and do the other side, it doesn't matter which way you start. Take an inhale and an exhale. Really nice. Sweep the feet underneath you, coming up. One foot comes to the ground, the other foot comes to the ground, and we come to standing. Let's warm up the shoulder joints a little bit. Start by reaching the hand forward, thumb pointing up, and we make big circles, as if you were carving a circle on the wall to your side. And then go the other direction. Trying to go faster and faster. And stopping. Let's do the other side. Arm comes up, reach it around. Get those little creaky feelings out of the shoulder joint. And then come the other direction. Really nice. Now take the hands out in front of you, sort of seal-like. You could clap here. Make sure you've got a bit of space to either side, because we're just going to let the hands come out and press back and then come forwards again. Let's do that another 4 times. 3, 2, and 1. Really nice. Let the neck round, the chin drops down to the chest. Roll your ear over to one shoulder. And then come through the middle and roll to the other shoulder. Let's do that a couple of times, coming back and forwards. Now come to the middle and lift the head back up and drop the head back. Roll to one shoulder and come back and to the other shoulder. Do that a couple of times. Let the knees be soft. And now start to complete the circle. So you're coming all the way around. Let's do 3 in one direction and then we'll reverse. And if you find spots that are a little sticky, you can go a little slower in those spots. And go the other way. And let the head come back up. Good job. Bring the hands to the hips. And we're just going to make some circles with the hips. Let the hip come out to the front to one corner, then to the other corner, then to the back, and then the other corner. So we're making a circle with the hips. 3 times in one direction, and then go the other way. And come back to the middle. Take the hands, interlace, and start to make circles around the wrists. Mine really make creaky sounds when I do this. And come the other direction. Step the feet together to touch. Hands come to the knees, and we're just going to make circles with the knees. Let's go a few times in one direction, trying to keep the feet flat on the floor the whole time, and then come the other way. Come to standing. Hands at either side. We'll do a couple of twists, just letting the hands hang down, nice and relaxed. We twist back. Turning to look over your shoulder. We do another 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you're feeling a little dizzy, take your thumb and just stare at the thumbnail for a moment. Take an inhale and an exhale. Really nice. Inhale, reach the arms up, look towards the hands. As you exhale, hinging forwards, let the hands come down to the ground. Separate the feet so they're about 2 fist distance apart. Bend the knees so that your chest is on the thighs. Grab hold of opposite elbows and let your head dangle down. Release the elbows, hands come to the ground, bend the knees, lowering yourself down. Let yourself sit down as gracefully as possible. Extend the feet out a little bit further, soles of the feet on the ground. Reach the hands out, tuck the tailbone, lowering yourself down. Once you get down, check that your heels are just about far enough away from your hips that you can just graze the back of the heels with your fingers. And we're just going to spend a bit of time with our pelvis. I find it helpful if I put my hands on the bony point to notice when I'm tilting the pelvis away. Let's tilt it away. And then tucking, pressing the spine into the ground. And then tilt it away. Keep moving that pelvis back and forth. And trying to use your core muscles to pull it in. So when you round, feel as if your core is pulling it in towards you. Option now to hover the feet off the ground and keep doing that tilting in and out. Noticing how when you can't use your feet to help, you have to use the core muscles a little bit more. Good job. One more time, curl it in and then press it down. Let the soles of the feet come to the ground if you had them lifted. Inhale, reach the hands up towards the ceiling and then let them drop down behind you. You're just trying to press as much of the backs of the hands into the ground as possible. If you're feeling this in your shoulders, you're doing it right. Notice if your ribs have flared up. If that's happening, bring the ribs back down, tucking the pelvis. You're trying to press the spine into the ground and actively pressing the backs of the hands into the ground. Inhale, reach the hands up, press them down by your sides and bridge the hips up. Squeezing the glutes to lift your hips up high. Take an inhale, lower the hips as your hands come up and then press back behind you. Exhale, bridging the hips up. Keep moving through this. We'll do it another 5 times. Coming up and lowering back down. Each time seeing if you can squeeze a little bit harder. Next time you come up into that bridge, hold it there, pressing the hips up. We're going to do 10 lifts up and down, lower down and lift it up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Good job. Should be feeling that a little bit in those hip muscles. Okay, we're going to come to a little bit of core work. Notice your pelvis position. So you don't want it tilted away, you don't want it fully tucked in. You're finding a neutral pelvis, somewhere between those two extremes. Hover the right foot off the ground. Actually, no, let the heel come to the ground. If you can, you're going to try and just let the heel graze on the ground. Engage the core, the feeling of if I was about to punch you in the stomach, which of course I wouldn't do, but if someone was going to punch you in the stomach and you were tensing to protect yourself, that kind of feeling of engagement with the core. And then not letting anything else move, the hips stay exactly as they are, just sending the right heel out and then bringing it back in. Good job. We do that another 4 times. Everything is staying still. Nothing else is moving. We have another 3. Drawing the heel back in, trying to use the core muscles to draw it back in. Extend out and back. Last one, extend out and come back. Really nice. We come to the other side. So the heel is on the ground, left heel. Feel that tensing if you lost it, so that tensing of the core. And then send that left heel away and draw it back in. Notice if you're holding your breath, don't hold your breath. Instead, breathe with the movement. We have another 3.
Try inhaling as you send the leg out and exhaling as you come in. 2 more. And come back. Last one. And come back. Really nice. Soles of the feet on the ground. Take the right ankle, place it over the top of that left knee, and then just press that right knee in and out a couple of times if you can, just using strength of the legs to press it out. Then interlacing the hands behind the back of the left leg and curling the leg in while you press that right knee away. I like to use my elbow to sort of encourage it away while I'm pulling in on the left leg. Take an inhale. As you exhale, maybe you can pull in just a little bit more. And release, switching sides. Left ankle crossing over the top of that right knee. Start by just pressing it in and out a couple of times. Interlace the hands behind that right leg, pull it in. Take a moment to notice how the sides feel to you, if they feel different to each other, or notice if they feel the same. And release. Take the right leg, extend it up towards the ceiling. Bring the hands behind the back of that leg. You're trying to get it as straight as you can. If that means it's far away from you, that's fine. Flex the foot and point the foot. Let's just flex and point a couple of times up here. And make some circles around the ankle, a few times in each direction. And then come back to the point and flex. And with it flexed, bend the knee, let the heel come down towards your hips. At the bottom, point and send the leg straight back up. At the top, flex and bend. At the bottom, you point and send it back up. Let's do another 5 of these. Again, moving with your breath. Inhaling and exhaling at different parts of that motion. Next time the leg comes back down, let the foot come back to the ground and come to the left side. Extend the left leg up, getting it straight as you can, and point and flex the left foot a few times. Then making some circles around that ankle. 3 in one direction, then go the other way. Come back to the point, flex the foot, bend with a flexed foot, point at the bottom, extend with a pointed foot. Flex at the top and come down. Point and come up. Flex and come down. Point and come up. Let's do another 3 of these. Noticing how you're breathing. Last one. Let the foot come back down. Really nice. Hover the knees so that they're right above the hips, and the feet, the shins are perpendicular. So parallel to the ground, perpendicular to your knees. Now we're going to do some heel taps. You're going to lower the right leg down. It touches the ground, and then you pull it back up. Now notice what I didn't do was change that angle. So you keep that 90-degree angle as you lower down. And you really feel your core working to do this. Feel that tensing of the core. Neutral spine. And we lower the right leg down and lift it up. Let's do another 3 with the right leg. Nothing else should be moving. And then switch sides, 5 with the left leg. If you can't get the heel all the way down to the ground without completely losing what's happening with your back, don't worry about it. You just come down as far as you can maintain that stability. The last one. And coming back up. Hug the knees into the chest and roll yourself back and forth a few times. Coming up to a seated position, swing the legs around behind you. Come so the knees are underneath the hips. Lower the forearms down to the ground. Take the right hand and move it so that it's touching the inside of the crease of that left elbow. Extend the left foot back and then roll yourself over onto that left foot, extending the right shin behind you like a little kickstand. So you're in a sort of modified side plank. Extend that top arm out and feel a stretch down the left side, lifting your body up like a rainbow shape, making a big arch underneath you. Come over back to forearms and come to the other side. So the left hand comes to the crease of the right elbow. Right foot comes back, toe tucked under. Roll over, kick out that back leg, and extend that top arm, making a big arch. And coming back to forearms. Extend the left leg, toes tucked under. Extend the right leg and we come to a forearm plank. Lift the hips up so that they're not dipping down here, but not so much that you're pressing into a dolphin pose. So keeping the hips level here. We hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering down, pointing the toes, rolling the shoulders, and feeling a stretch down the front of the body. Keeping the toes pointed, tops of the feet pressing into the ground. Roll yourself back up to a forearm plank, but keeping the tops of the feet on the ground. And lowering down. Feel a pull towards you, roll the shoulders back, feel the shoulder blades pinch behind your back, looking up. We'll do that 3 more times. Feel like it's a rolling of the spine as you curl it off the ground, press the tops of the feet, lift up, and lower back down. 2 more, rolling up, and down. And rolling up. Let's hold it here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering down. Really nice. Take the hands underneath the shoulders. This is a baby cobra pose. Pressing up and then come to all fours. Back into your child's pose. And then rolling yourself up, sit up onto the knees, hands press into the lower back, roll the shoulders back, the elbows back, looking up. Come back to a straight position, and keeping as much stability as you can here, you're just going to take that right leg and kick it forwards. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee up, and we've come up into a high lunge position. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And then really sink into that front knee, trying to get the back leg straight behind you. Now bend that back knee. Both knees bend, you hover that back knee towards the ground and straighten both legs. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. We have 2 more. Really nice. Bring the hands down to the hips. If you're able to do it just in 1 step, letting that left foot step back to the front, and we're back at the front of the mat. Really nice. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, hinging forwards. Inhale, come to a half lift position. As you exhale, really bend the knees. Let the knees come down to the ground. Let the forearms come down to the ground. Step 1 leg back to a forearm plank. Step the other leg back. We're now in a forearm plank again. We hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lowering down, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, pressing yourself back, child's pose, then rolling the spine up, coming onto your knees, hands behind, roll the shoulders back, and let the head drop back. Come back to a straight position. Take the left leg and step it forwards. Tuck the right toes under. Maintaining your balance, lift that right knee up off the ground. Adjust if you need to. Inhale, sweep those arms up. And really feel that stretch in the front of that right hip. Now bend that back knee, hovering it over the ground. Front knee bends as well. And straighten both of them. Do whatever you like with your hands here. And bend and straighten. We have 3 more. Bend and straighten. Bend, straighten. I think this is the last one. Bend and straighten. Really nice. Now as smoothly as possible, stepping that right foot up to the front. Really nice. Bend the knees so the hands can graze the floor, bending them enough that you can touch the fingertips, and then sweep the arms up. We come into our chair pose. Look down, notice if you can see all 10 toes. If you can't, sink the hips back a little bit more, and see if you can lower yourself down a little bit further. Bring the hands to the chest. Bring the weight over onto the right side, so you're coming up onto the ball of the left foot, hovering the left foot, and then extending it back. We're coming back into that high lunge position. Really nice. This time hinging forwards, we're going to come back to where we were. Lifting that back foot up, coming forwards, and we come back into our chair pose. Now bring the weight to the left side, hovering the right foot, and then sending that right foot back, and we come up into our lunge. Really nice. Hinging forwards, coming back to that chair pose. Good job. And then extending the legs up, reaching the arms up. Exhale, lowering them down. Really nice. Okay, a bit of side work while we're standing up here. Inhale, hands come up, interlace the hands, except for the index fingers. Feel the elbows hugging as much as you can towards your ears. With an inhale, really lengthen, feel your spine lengthening up. And then side bend over to one side, sending the hips out to the other side. And noticing if you are tempted to turn towards the ground one way, try not to do that. You're trying to open the chest up towards the ceiling, as if you were reaching your body over a beach ball. Inhale, come back up, and come to the other side. Inhale, come back up, and I want you to do that once more on each side while I check if the filming is going okay. Looks like we are still going. Okay. And once you've done with both of those, we meet back in the middle. Hinge forwards with a bend at the knees. This time you're coming straight into a straight position, bending the knees enough that you can get your spine straight. And lifting back up. Press the hips forward, lean back. And up to the middle, bringing the hands down. Really nice. Take the left hand out in front of you as if you were asking someone for money. Elbow is in, left hand comes to the side. Keep the hand like this. Left leg, the leg bends. Let the hand drop down and grab hold of the inside of that ankle. And then just feel that stretch in that thigh muscle here. Notice if it's making you arch. Right now we're not arching. We're keeping the pelvis tucked. So you can see the difference here for me. Arching, tucked. Lets me feel a lot more of that in the thigh muscle. And release, come to the other side. Hand out for some money, bend the leg behind you.
Feel that tailbone tucking. And release. Hug the left knee into your chest, interlacing the hands, really hugging it in, and then release the hands and try and keep that foot, that knee lifted up as high as you can. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extend the legs straight as you can. We hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and place it down. Come to the other side. Curl that knee into the chest. Then release the knee and try and keep it lifted as high as you can. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extend the leg forwards, trying to get it straight for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Placing it down, really nice. Let's just shake the legs out. A little bit of balance work here. Let the feet point 45-degree angles away and then come up onto the balls of the feet. The heels are touching, and try and notice, even just this can be a bit wobbly. I'm sort of leaning forwards here, trying to keep straight spine. Shoulders are rolled back and reaching down. And then turn your head and look over one shoulder. Come back to the middle and look over the other shoulder. Come back to the middle and lower the heels down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, press the arms down and come back up. Heels touching. Look over one shoulder and come to the middle. Look over the other shoulder and come to the middle, lowering back down. Really nice. Bring your weight over onto the right side. Take the left leg and come into your tree pose, whether that's foot on ankle or foot further up. Choose which feels right to you. Really feeling that left leg pointing outwards to the side. That right hip is hugging in, so I'm not pressing it out, I'm hugging in. Option to play with the hands here if you'd like. You can do whatever you'd like with the hands. If you're feeling like getting yourself a little bit of an extra chest stretch here, we can do that. Maybe some wrist circles. Wherever your hands are, bringing them back down to the waist. Let the knee come to the middle. One more time of extending that leg straight, lifting it up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and place it down. We come to the other side. Bringing your foot into whichever tree pose you want to take. Making sure that the knee is coming out to the side and that left hip is hugging in. Choose what you want to do with your hands. Pull in the core, feel that engagement here, that feeling of if someone was going to do something here, you're nice and protected. Nice long inhale and exhale. Bringing the hands to the hips. Knee comes to the front, extend that leg out. We hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let it come down. Let's shake them out. Good job. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend the knees, coming forwards. Let the head drop down. Inhale, head lifts up. Exhale, bending the knees, letting the knees come down to the ground. Untucking the toes. Reaching forwards, placing the forearms onto the ground. Sliding one leg back, sliding the other leg back. We come to that forearm plank. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to come to a forearm plank on the right side, so side plank. Take the right hand to that elbow crease, roll both heels back,
and lift the hips up. Lots of options here. You can have your feet stacked. You can have the feet staggered, top leg on the ground in front of you. You can have that back knee down like we did before. Or you can add to it by lifting up that top leg. One more breath. Roll back to that forearm plank and we come to side plank on the left side. Rolling the heels over and feeling that arch lifting up the side of the body. One more breath. Coming back to that forearm plank. Keeping the forearms where they are, start to walk the feet in as much as you can. Find to have a good bend in the knees. You're trying to get as much of your body over the forearms as possible. This is dolphin pose. Pressing the floor away with the forearms, not letting yourself sink into the shoulders. And then walking back to that forearm plank. Lowering down to your belly. And lowering all the way down. Really nice. Take the hands, one hand on top of the other, and then you're going to glue that to your forehead. Step the feet together. Don't really step. Move the feet together to touch. Let the heels come together to touch. Try and keep those heels engaged. Feel that tensing in your core. And with an inhale, press the tops of the feet into the ground while you lift your chest up. And lower back down. And lift up. And lower down. Lifting up. And down. This time, we're going to lift up the feet as well. Option to keep your hands where they are, or if you want, you can reach the hands behind you. With an inhale, lift everything up. Squeeze the glutes. You're trying to keep the legs straight here. So not like this. Legs stay straight, and you're lifting the whole of the leg up off the ground. 3, 2, 1. Lower down, turn one cheek to the floor. Just shimmy the hips back and forth a few times. Bring the heels together, face forwards. With an inhale, lifting everything up. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down, turn the other cheek to the floor. Come back to face forwards. I'm going to do a little bit of a quad stretch while we're here. Take the right hand, reach it back, and grab hold of that right foot. With your hand here, lots of options. You can take your forearm and press yourself up, or you can let yourself sink down. But what you're trying to do is feel a stretch in that right thigh. If you're able to get your hand far enough back that the fingers and toes are pointing the same way, then you can get to a point where you can use that to press the foot down. But wherever you are, as long as you're feeling a stretch in that right thigh, then you're doing it right. You might even be able to add a little bit of a back bend feeling here. One more breath. And release, and come to the other side. Reaching back for the left foot, wherever it feels like you can grab. The reason it's nice when you finally get to the point where you can have your fingers facing the same direction as the toes is I'm now able to press straight down with my arm and give myself a little bit of extra leverage in this stretch. Long, smooth breathing. One more breath. And release. We'll come to our bow pose. Reaching the arms back. Grabbing hold of the ankles. On the outside of the ankles. Roll the shoulders back.
With an inhale, kick the legs up and into the hands. We hold for another 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Good job. Hands come to the ground, underneath the shoulders, press up, come back and sink back into a child's pose. Let's stay in this child's pose. Slowly rolling yourself up to your knees, then coming up onto the knees, hands come behind the back, rolling the spine back and arching back. Coming back upright, take the right leg and step it forwards. Hinging over that right leg, bring the hands to the ground on either side of that right foot. And then bring that right leg towards a straight position, feeling that stretch in the back of the hamstring. We'll come in and out of this, hinging forwards and coming back. Forwards and back. Forwards and back. This time stay back here. Feeling that stretch, noticing if you're tending to let that right hip come forwards and try and tuck that right hip back. Flex and point that foot a few times. And bending that right knee, coming forwards. Left hand on the ground, right arm reaches up. Bring the hand back down. Come up, reach back with your left hand for that left foot. And again, we're feeling that stretch in that quad muscle. The more you squeeze the left glute, the more you'll feel that stretch. You can either choose to use this as more of a strengthening pose and kick into that hand, feel an opening in that left shoulder, or feel that foot pulling in towards you like we did when we were on the ground. Releasing wherever you are. And this is going to take a little bit of balance. We're going to step back to that kneeling position. So pressing the foot backwards and then coming back to kneeling. Now the left foot comes forwards. We let ourselves sink into that lunge. Hands come to the ground around that front foot. And then bring that front leg towards a straight position. Inhale, bending, coming forwards. And exhale, straightening. Inhale, bending. And exhale, straightening. Let's do this one more time. And next time you come back, just holding that forward fold, feeling that stretch in the back of the left leg. Flexing and pointing the left foot a few times. Bending the knee, coming forwards. Reach the left hand up, feeling a twist. Bring the hand down. And lift yourself up, lift the torso up. Bend that back knee, reach for that back foot. And you have the same options that you had before. You can either kick into that hand and feel that opening in the right shoulder. Or you can draw the knee, draw the foot rather, towards your right hip, feeling a really big stretch in the front of the right leg. Releasing back, this time tucking the toes, lifting up, and if you can try and do it in one step, stepping up to the front of the mat. Now I'm hoping you have a wall near you. If you don't, then watch what I'm doing and then go and do it on a wall. So I have a wall right here. I'm going to take my arm like a cactus shape here. So the elbow is in line with my shoulder. And I'm going to press into the wall here and press my armpit on the right side into the wall. Now trying not to lose that engagement, I then turn away from that arm while actively pressing that right armpit into the wall. You should feel a big stretch
in the front of the chest. So go do that on a wall if you have one nearby. Everyone's got to have one nearby. And then we switch sides. So now the left hand, left arm bent like this. You press it into the wall. You can see it from a different angle this time. Pressing that left forearm in. And then turning yourself away from that left armpit. Actively, this is a very active pose. I'm actively pressing into the wall. And coming back to the middle. Really nice. Shaking those arms out a little bit. Inhale, sweep the arms up, looking up. Exhale, bending the knees, hinging forwards, let the head drop down. Slowly bending the knees, and then letting the knees come down to the ground. Untucking the toes, and sitting back onto the knees. Let yourself just come over onto one side, swing the legs around in front of you. Soles of the feet are on the ground, hands are reaching forwards. Curl the tailbone as you let yourself roll all the way down. Hands come to the floor. Bend the knees so that the knees are right over the hips. Take an inhale and lift yourself up to the tips of the shoulder blades, reaching the hands past the hips. Then extend the left leg long, pointing it, but it doesn't touch the ground. And we switch. And switch. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Extend both legs long, and then try and roll yourself up to a boat pose. Knees are bent, chest is lifting up high, arms are reaching forwards. Flip the palms so they're pointing up towards the ceiling. You can either hold here, or we'll do a few lowers to a low boat, and then come back up to your high boat. And lower, and come back up. 2 more times, lowering. Last one. Even that's getting hard for me as well. Good job, everyone. Let the either lower all the way down, or you can go the easier way. Soles of the feet come to the ground, and lowering all the way down. We are going to come to a shoulder stand practice. If this is not in your practice, take a moment to pay attention. Legs are lifting up towards the ceiling. You can just stay here or have the legs up against a wall. Otherwise, if you're coming into the shoulder stand, you're rolling the hips up, taking the hands and walking them down the back as close to the ground as possible. And you're using these your elbows, your forearms, not the forearms, I guess the top of the arms to help. Then extending the legs up, and you're trying to get the feet to point straight towards the ceiling, making yourself as straight a line as possible. So if you're piking over like this, that's okay, but you're trying to come as straight as possible. And let's keep holding that there. We're going to hold for another 30 seconds or so. Well done. Keep breathing. Feel that lifting up happening. And now start to lower the legs behind your head. It's fine if you have a good bend in the knees here. Hands on the ground by your hips. And we're just going to stay here for a little bit. I like to have my knees bent and resting on my forehead. Slowly rolling the spine, one vertebra at a time.
Extend the legs long. Take the hands, a little diamond shape underneath the hips. Elbows pressing into the ground. Lift yourself up. Feel like a string is pulling your back into an arch, and then put the top of your head onto the ground. Pointing the toes. Pressing the floor away as you lower back down. Bending the knees. Knees are again straight over the hips. And let the knees drop over to the right side, coming onto your side. And then opening up that left shoulder, reaching the left arm. You'll feel a stretch in the shoulder and the chest as well as the spine here. Coming back to the middle, let the knees drop over to the other side. And the right hand, the right shoulder opens, looking over your shoulder towards that right hand. Bring the knees back over. Grab hold of opposite elbows. Hug the knees into the chest. If you want, make some circles. You can put the hands on the knees. Make some circles around the sacrum. And extending the legs long. Palms facing up. Arms reaching down by your sides. Legs wide, and close your eyes. Coming into Shavasana. Letting your body breathe however it wants to, not controlling the breath in any way, just letting it happen naturally. Taking a moment for a quick body scan, starting with your feet. Just pay attention to your feet and notice how they feel. Let them be heavy and relaxed on the floor. Move your awareness up your calves. How do they feel? Let them be heavy. And then bring the awareness up your thighs, the hips. And the abdomen, relaxing the muscles in the belly. The chest relaxes, the neck relaxes. Feeling the backs of the hands on the ground heavy. The shoulders heavy. Let your face relax, taking any tension out of your jaw. Let the forehead relax. And then bring a bit of movement to your body. Deepen your breath. A big inhale. Feel the belly rise. And a big exhale. Reach the hands up behind you on the ground. Point the toes like you're doing a big stretch in the morning when you wake up. And curl the knees into your chest and roll over onto one side or the other. And just take a moment in that fetal position. Pressing the ground away with your hand. And we come back up
to a seated position. Let's just do a few more neck circles here before we finish. Dropping the head back. Come 3 times in one direction and then the other. And when you finish those circles, bringing the head straight up over the body. Hands resting on your legs somewhere. Close your eyes. Exhale all of your air. Take an inhale through the nose and hold it. And let it go with a sigh. Bring your hands together at the center of your chest. Take a moment again to think about that person that we started with at the beginning of your practice. The light in me honors the light in you. I love you, Mommy and Daddy. Namaste.